Good evening and welcome to our Monday Night Live. We are excited to be here with you today, and we trust that the Lord has been blessing you. It is indeed a blessing to be alive. Let us begin with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for this wonderful day. We give you thanks for the blessing of life and even to be present in this session. We ask for your continued guidance as we discuss healthy plates and how we can put that together in a way that would bring health and restoration to our bodies. We thank you for all of your provisions. We thank you for all of those who are here attending now and later. This is our prayer in Jesus' name, amen. Okay, our topic of discussion, healthy plates for optimal health. Last week in the chat, got a couple questions. Individuals were wondering, what do I eat? What shall I eat for breakfast, for lunch, for supper? And folks had no idea what they could eat. They knew it somewhere along vegetables, somewhere along fruits. And then we started up a conversation asking individuals to share their health concerns, and we will and have taken note of all of the different categories of thoughts that you have in terms of the conditions that you're interested in. Skin rashes, detox, digestion issues, acid reflux, anemia, ovarian cysts, high blood pressure. A whole lot of requests came in. And then I said, okay, let's start talking. And then today we had when I asked you to place your favorite food in the chat, you responded, and I'm happy that you did. And this is a kind of engagement that would get you answers and that would get you learning. So are we going to put up all of those plates? Yes, we will. Not this evening, though, because as I reviewed and prepared for this presentation, I recognize that it's going to take more than one session. And that's why you have quality information coming to you. That it's not a quickie input, do this, do that, and it's a magic plate. We don't have magic plates, but we have plates, and with a few of them, you can strike a number of conditions to eradicate them from the body. But let's get going. And so it's all a learning process, a learning journey. What I'll encourage you to do is that as you begin to learn, you implement. Okay, as you learn, you implement. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. You can start with one meal tomorrow. You can start. Okay, so let's go. I am Dr. Natalie Nash, and I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I am here to share with you about healthy eating and healthy lifestyle. And I'm talking to you from Pure Wellness Lifestyle Center, located in Trinidad and Tobago, in Las Lomas, Trinidad and Tobago. And here we have a center. We actually have a session going on right now, and we have guests at our center right now. And they're sleeping over for about 10 days. They're sleeping over, and they had their water exercises today. Really good sunshine and weather we had, and they thoroughly enjoyed that. And they've been going for their walks, exercise, and getting massages and all kinds of stuff they had today. Lots of fun enjoying their meals and learning as well how to prepare certain dishes. And so this week we're going to cover some of their favorite dishes and show them how to prepare that in a healthful manner. So quite exciting and lots of learning. So you are invited to come to the center at any time. Just give me a call or send a message, and you would see even in the chat when we have upcoming sessions, we will place the notices in there. So I just want to start off with this little story as we get into our topic, because folks have disease conditions in their body, on their skin, in their bones, in their head, the heart, the kidneys. You find different organs throughout the body not doing well, not functioning well, and that makes you feel ill. And then we will understand that food plays an impact and on our health. And so I just wanted to share with you this little story about old Tom Parr. Now, it's recorded in history, and old Tom Parr, he lived in the incredible age of 152. At least this is claimed. I was not there, so I cannot tell you if the story is altogether true. However, it's been spoken much about and shared. So, Old Tom Parr, you can Google it and search. And so, if that's true that he lived 152 years, he would have seen about 10 sovereigns on the throne of England, including Queen Elizabeth I. And in 1635, look at that date there, 1635, King Charles invited Parr to his place and inquired as to how the old man managed to have such a long life. Parr answered that he lived a simple life as a farmer, and he ate mostly potatoes, fruit, and oatmeal. See, potatoes, fruit, and oatmeal. And he lived in a little house like this, quite simple, yeah. The house looks so nice and cozy. You know, when you walk in, you smell this aroma of wood, and when you mash the floor, it goes crickety crack. So yeah, a very simple life on the farm. Now, King Charles invited him to his palace, and while he was there, he offered him food. And we are told that old Parr was not accustomed to the rich food served at the palace. And that night, after dining, he became ill and died. And too much rich food, you know, he wasn't accustomed to that. And King Charles felt so terrible for having killed Britain's oldest citizen with royal delicacies that he commanded Parr be buried in Westminster Abbey. So you can go there and see where his grave can still be seen, and even today. It appears that Parr was living proof of the connection between a longer, stronger life and what you eat. Well, I can tell you today that it is true that individuals can lead a longer, stronger life, and what they eat matters. Food matters. And we'll talk a lot about food in times to come. Even when we get into the disease topics, food would show up, because nutrition, diet, to support certain health issues. So we have healthy plates that we're going to be looking at. Just 1 second. Yep. Just wanted to, right. So healthy plates, and it all starts with right shopping. Look at this supermarket. Lots of food. Wouldn't you be excited to shop here? You have variety, and everything looks so fresh and green and healthy. All the ginger, onions, the chard, and all kinds of greens, kale, spinach, the carrots, and just going all the way down the lane. Spinach up here, cucumbers, sweet potatoes, everything that you could think about. If you went in here, you get a nice basket full of all the healthy items. And then you go home and you cook it, and that's packed with vitamins and minerals to nourish your body. So for centuries, humans have relied on the food supply as a source of energy, health, and connection. However, in the last 6 or 7 decades, you find that changes in the food supply and how we use it have contributed strongly to the growing epidemic of chronic disease. Farm food is not the same as it used to be back in times past. A lot of farming takes place, and you have a lot of insecticides, pesticides, things are being sprayed to ripen before that time. All kinds of issues are happening with the food, and then you hear folks looking for organic food, and it does make a difference. When you have organic food, it's healthier, and that's why we need to just be encouraged to plant our own food. Now, what is food? Big question. Food is a powerful influence on our health. Always, food can have an impact on our health. Food offers not only the calories that fuel our body's metabolism, but it also contains many diverse components that play important roles in our bodily functions. And in certain proportions and amounts, poor quality food can influence or create disease, and high quality food can reverse disease and sustain it. In a very real sense, food is medicine. So if you ate a high quality, good food, that can reverse disease. For example, we saw pictures of the kale, the cabbage, and there would be broccoli and cauliflower. Those foods are the cabbage family, and they are hugely important. Remember, last week we talked about them when it comes to HIV and AIDS. Yes, autoimmune conditions, cancers, that having foods of the cabbage family will help to promote health and healing. It will help to produce certain enzymes, certain compounds within the body that will work towards detoxification. Glutathione, for example, can be produced by the body when you eat foods of the cabbage family. So glutathione is sold in a bottle. Inositol hexaphosphate 6, IP6, is another item that can help to reduce cancer cells in the body. And that you can find in your brown rice, in the fiber of your brown rice. That is also sold in a bottle. Selenium is excellent when it comes to immunity and to increasing our immune function. Zinc, super for eye health, prostate health, and immune health. And you can find zinc, you can find selenium in Brazil nuts, and the dosage is like 3 Brazil nuts a day. And then you can also get zinc in your pumpkin seeds, and the dosage will be a handful of pumpkin seeds twice a day. So right away, you start making a connection between food and health. Food can also be detrimental and break down the health, and I'll show you a couple of those examples coming up. Now, food also represents, so we have food that influence health and healing, or that can bring disease. Okay, certain foods can bring on disease conditions. And let's see, and then we have food can also shows connection when we connect with others. And in most cultures, food play a major role in familial bonding, celebrations, ceremonies. If you were to have an award ceremony, you'd see it always may end off with sharing some snack plate, some food. Let's socialize. Let's mix and mingle, and there would be food. And when folks get around food, they talk, they laugh, they bond. You can meet like a business partner at a lunch, and just have lunch together, and you break down all barriers. You guys are just like talking and laughing and getting to know each other. So I've seen food work, you know, in that ways. And then for celebrations and family, I just love having food. Some families eat their meals together every single day. If not all their meals, at least one meal they eat together. And that works well for holding families bond. Now, through food, we connect with friends, families, and we make memories. Yeah, you can remember when we ate so and so, where, the smell, the taste, and everything. So there are three basic elements in our diet, and this is what we need to look for on our plate. The proteins, fats, carbohydrates, they are the building blocks for of all the food that we eat. They're like macronutrients. They're like foundation in terms of the nutrients that the food would have. So all foods will have proteins, carbs, and fats. So just understand that. So it's not one particular food that has fats in it, like nuts. Yes, nuts do have fats in it, but it also contains carbohydrates and protein. Yeah. There are some societies where protein is limited in the sense of their peas and their beans, and so they may resort to looking at peanuts to eat to get protein from the peanuts. And they will plant the peanuts and harvest it and add that to their food. And therefore, so it has protein in it, not only fat, and it has carbohydrates. So all foods will have these three macronutrients. And then you go to micronutrients that they would now, you'd have some foods that will have vitamins and some will have minerals. You find more of your green leafy, more of your vegetables to have minerals, and then the vitamins will be more in the fruit mostly. Tell me, where would we get vitamin C? Anyone? What foods do you know are high in vitamin C? Vitamin, it's a vitamin. So just put in the chat or unmute. Which foods do you think?
Oranges.
Oranges, yeah. Good. Let's see. Citrus. Yeah, the citrus fruits, and we got an example of that being oranges. And pineapple, yes. And let's see, what again? We have lemons, lime, grapefruit, tangerine, a whole wide range of them. But do you know in cabbage, in broccoli, you also have vitamin C? Yeah, they do. So our foods, God has just like packed everything that we need, you know, inside of these foods. And one of the things that I recognize, did you find that foods are and they're covered with nice covering? I mean, look at a kiwi. A kiwi, it's green on the inside, but has a brown coat, and it's furry to the touch. You know, and God just packaged these things in such pretty ways. Look at a pineapple. You know, and look at what the skin of the pineapple looks like. It's not just wrapped up. There are patterns on the pineapple skin. You know, such intricate work, and they are symmetrical. You know, everything just matching and all of that for a pineapple. And when we are ready to eat it, we just wash it and take a knife, slice down, peel off the skin and everything, and we eat it. Yeah, we're not even interested in the packaging, but God has created all these beautiful packages of our food. And so it's, you know, he loves pretty things, lovely things. So micronutrients you also find in your food, and they tend to have a positive effect, a positive benefit on our health. Processed foods, on the other hand, it may interfere with the function of those basic elements of that exist in the food. So a food that has vitamins and nutrients, for example, foods that are high in vitamin C, if you were to boil them and heat it up, it reduces the enzymes in it are reduced hugely, and they even die off. So you don't get the enzymes in there. So we just pay attention. I mean, not to say that you never boil, because you do have some teas, like with oranges, and the orange peel tea is really good as well. But if it goes, you have a food and you process it, it goes through boiling, steaming, crushing, baking. We could really do some processing in your kitchen, sometimes with some of the preparations. One of the things you would see as you put the plates together, it's that it is simple. Simple, simple, simple is the big tagline for these foods when it comes to helping in, for health and healing. So we have processing practices may have certain things added to the food, like hydrogenated oils. You may add sugars, sweeteners, salt in abundance, bleaching. And these now, some of it might be toxic chemicals that's added to the crops, sprayed to the crops. And then you may have trans fat in that food preparation, all of these in processed foods. And there might be certain preservatives in them to make them shelf worthy, to stay long, have a long shelf life, and to make them look prettier and shiny and bright like the apples. And to make it taste sweeter at times, it might be modified, and to make it taste sweeter. And all of these things are added to a food that God intended for us to eat in the simplest form possible. And when we eat it, sickness comes to the body, because all of this is going into the body that was not designed to be. We weren't designed to have toxins in us and all these sugars and sweeteners and all of these things in abundance. No, you get natural sweeteners from your food. And that's why our taste buds are so off, and it needs to be changed so that we can have an appreciation for the taste of natural food. And if today you find that you're using examples of like what we have here on the screen of foods that's really processed, step away from that a bit. And it helps, especially when you have trans fats in foods and certain sweeteners added to these foods. Sometimes they have addictive elements in them. And like once you bring sugar and fat together, it tends to be addictive. And so they put that within the food, and you find you just want to eat and eat and eat. Every time you go to the supermarket, you have to buy this particular food, but it's not good for you. So let's just stay away from the supermarket. Focus more on eating your natural foods, drinking water, and your taste buds can change. Your craving can go away. All right, so let's see. Okay, so someone is asking, what about when the skin with the pineapple? No, I was just admiring how beautiful the skin of the pineapple is, and we would not eat it, but you can make a juice from it. You can boil it. Yeah, and it comes out like a tea, boil it, then you strain it. You can squeeze if you can, and you can have a pineapple juice. So we do that. Even golden apple, if you guys know golden apple, you can take the skin of the golden apple and you can boil it and you get golden apple juice. It's very delicious. In fact, you would see some interesting, if you look through the chat, you'd see some interesting items to put on that plate. Fruits and their leaves tend to carry the same fragrance and taste as the fruit. For example, in the front of my yard, there's a acerola cherry tree. If you want to pick the leaves, even when there are no cherries on the tree, and you just pick the leaves of that cherry tree and you eat it, you put it in your mouth and you bite it up, chew it up, it's going to taste like the cherries. Isn't that amazing? So if you wanted to taste cherry all through the year, you can just chew up on the leaves, or you can boil it and make a tea out of it, and you get that cherry flavor. Yeah. I've also tested this with oranges, with grapefruit, with tangerine. And you just break up the leaves and you smell it. It has the aroma of the fruit itself. So we tend not to eat those things, but you can make teas from them. In the chat today, I saw where folks are putting in certain leaves that they're eating. Someone had pumpkin leaves for their vegetable on their plate. Someone had Edo's leaves for the vegetable on their plate. And so we're learning with different cultures, different societies, and what people eat. Like here in Trinidad, we eat the leaves of the dasheen bush, dasheen plant. Some societies, we call that taro, and we eat the leaves of that. But like in Jamaica, they don't eat the leaves at all. They would just eat the root as that tuber. And but the leaves are quite nutritious and healthy. So you would learn certain leaves that we can eat, and they're absolutely fine. I mean, I'm so excited to be seeing some of these items in there. Okay, so someone is sharing with a pineapple skin that you just juice the skin. And yeah, you wash it properly and you juice it. Yep, you squeeze out all the juice when you juice it. Very good. And that might be a more healthier way as opposed to boiling it off. Okay, so here we have our nice circle. Food is medicine. It gives us energy. It brings us connected to each other. And food gives information to our cells to function, either to get them optimized and they're functioning well, or they're down. Let me give you an example of this. So you got to listen carefully because it's very scientific. There is I was doing some lectures last week and I came upon this piece of information. Glucuronic acid. Glucuronic acid is something that's produced in the body, but glucuronic acid can do a nice, great work, especially for individuals with breast cancer when it's hormonal driven. For our men with prostate issues, that's hormonal driven. Individuals having ovarian issues, endometrial issues, that can be hormonal driven, meaning also that you have an excess amount of estrogen within the body. Yeah. So if you have excess estrogen in the body, how do you get rid of that? Big question. What do you think? What do you think? How can you get rid of excess estrogen in the body? Any idea? Let's see. You make a guess. Any idea? I gave. All right. If you say food, you'll be correct. All right. So, okay, so I'll tell you this. So glucuronic acid can be in the body and remove excess estrogen from our body. Now, how do we get that? Now, what glucuronic acid would do, it would survey the cells, and where there are receptor sites for estrogen on our cells, glucuronic acid would come like an arm and hook up to that estrogen, excess amount of estrogen on the cells, and hold it on and take it out of the body, excrete it through your bile into your colon, and out you're going. So it would help to reduce the amount of estrogen in the system, and that would be perfect. It can reduce your risk of getting breast cancer and other hormonal issues. Fibroids, when you have excess estrogen within the body, okay? Glucuronic acid will do that great work of removing it. Hold on to that estrogen. Let's go. Now, that's a good thing. How could we get more glucuronic acid? From our food. When we eat our plant foods, yeah, plant-based foods helps to increase that. You eat your greens, your cabbage, your broccoli, your cauliflower, you eat your fruits. Plant foods will help to increase glucuronic acid. Full stop. Now, On the other side, we have a fighter that seeks to try to move away glucuronic acid from doing its work. That is glucuronidase. It's an enzyme, and that can come in and tell glucuronic acid stop and break that bond of it holding on to estrogen, break the bond, and prevent the acid from doing its work. The enzyme would do that. Why would the enzyme do that? Well, it doesn't like people to be healthy. Where does that enzyme come from? Where did it come from, that glucuronidase? Where is it coming from? You would be surprised. The answer is food. What kind of food? Animal foods and their byproducts. Full stop. And so when individuals eat the plant-based foods, they can reduce estrogen dominance in their body. When individuals eat foods coming from animals, you will increase that enzyme to break that bond of glucuronic acid that's holding on to estrogen, and it doesn't get removed out of the body. And in fact, it's increasing estrogen dominance. Yep, because in the meat item itself, they're estrogenic in nature. So, do you see the connection right away between food and promoting health? And as in the glucuronic acid foods coming in and promoting health and healing, and the glucuronidase, the enzyme coming in because we're eating the animal foods and their byproducts, the milk, the cheese, the butter, the eggs, the ice cream, and the flesh, the fish, the chicken, and all of those. When we eat those, it breaks that bond and you bring on estrogen dominance in the body, putting individuals at risk for hormonal conditions. And then when we ask, what can we do? What can we eat, to get rid of fibroids? What can we eat to reduce our breast cancer risk? That's what we're talking about, food. And how do we bring in, what do we bring in, what do we call food, and how do we bring that in? All right, so I hope that has been helpful to you to recognize that food matters. Food matters. Okay, I'm just changing to remove the little scribble. Okay, food is information. So that's what, the food comes in and it gives information in that little example as to what to do with the estrogen in the system. So food is information, not just for energy. It actually tells our body how to function by signaling exactly when and how each different type of cell should behave in every situation. So we want the very best information to reach our cells in order to achieve optimal functioning. Now, when it comes to food and chronic diseases, which body do you want? There is an analogy about blue and red. So red is like the happy color and blue is all in the blues, down, and in the blue. So which kind of body do you want? I would think I would want a red body, where everything is bright and happy and optimistic and healthy, as opposed to a blue. Look at this picture. We can have, this picture not only indicates obesity, but it can also indicate like an increase in inflammation and disease conditions that just fills our body. Sometimes you'd meet individuals where they have so many things going on at the same time. So many health challenges. Sometimes I see folks with more than 10 things going on, but many of them are connected. Many of them are within the same body system, maybe the endocrine system. You have multiple things going on. So, or the cardiovascular system, and you have multiple conditions going on. Or it might be a mix of several. So how do we get from here, slim and trim and having no conditions, and you start to increase, and we're full with situations going on, chronic health conditions lifestyle, diet, and genes can bring us this way. Now, I heard someone within the last week say, well, diabetes runs in our family. And I took note of that statement because it's a true statement. Diabetes runs in the family. That's true. That is a fact. That's true. However, it does not mean to say that you will have diabetes. It's several things, like what we would say, it's like holding a loaded gun. Yeah, it runs in the family. It's like holding a loaded gun. What you eat, your diet, and your lifestyle can pull that trigger and make it happen for you. What you eat, your diet and lifestyle may never pull that trigger. If you ate healthy foods and had a healthy lifestyle, that would not happen to you. Diabetes will be running in your family, but you do not need to get it. Okay, so the statement doesn't end there. You do not need to have diabetes. And there are families where that exists, where everyone in the family, they have conditions, folks, but the one who pays careful attention to the diet, to the lifestyle, to exercising, to perspiring, to gardening, to walking, doing activity, paying attention to what is eaten, plant-based foods, in that individual does not exist diabetes, but all the siblings they have, parents have. So it's a real thing with our diet, our lifestyle. Genetics. Now, our genes, it's in our genes, it's in our DNA. I want to let you know today that your DNA can be rewritten. You could rewrite your DNA, and you don't have to, follow all that's happening or the potential of things to happen. You can rewrite your DNA. And by the codes that you put in with the foods, they are like codes. We just saw food is information, okay? By what you put in, by your physical activity, that's what you're putting in to change up the codes, that genetic code. And the science shows and proves that you can rewrite your DNA. I hope that you're listening. If you have high blood pressure in your family, if you have autoimmune conditions in your family, such as arthritis, diabetes is one, you have lupus, you have, multiple MS, multiple sclerosis, you have some autoimmune condition that can be in your family, it runs and so forth, that can be rewritten by your choice. And instead of having chronic health conditions, you could reverse this. Instead of being here, what it takes to get you here is exactly what it takes to get you back. Okay, it takes to get you back. So you can reverse it. And that's when we talk about all that we're saying here. No matter what your condition is, it can be changed. All right, you can go back. What you have done would have contributed to creating your chronic health conditions in the first place. So let us make the changes. We're talking about the plate today. And so let us make the changes so that we can reverse and go back. If you put the work in, you've heard so many testimonies we've shared in the past about individuals and putting the work in, putting the exercise program in, putting the efforts, taking time to make and cook their meals. I see a lot of folks, they have disease conditions, but they don't cook. They don't prepare their meals. They don't take the time to do that. And so food is medicine. Food can help to give information to your body for health and healing. And if every time we have to eat, we run to the shop and purchase food, that's going to be filled with additives, with oils, hydrogenated oils, trans fats, that's going to be filled with preservatives and all of those things. That's what you're feeding to the body, and that can get you here. And a lot of folks, they're not eating big plates, but what is in the plate? Oils and all of that. What's in the plate can get them here and filled with diseases and disease conditions. So we need to change that. So if you are hanging out on the blue side of things with the wrong diet and the wrong lifestyle, environment, on medication, you will be exhibiting coronary heart disease, stroke, TIAs, obesity, diabetes, arthritis, bronchitis, pneumonia, all kinds of things. The high blood pressure, cancer, cholesterol, triglyceride, asthma, constipation. Now, constipation, flour has no fiber most times. All those pastries and so forth, no fiber. Meat, chicken, fish, they have no fiber in them. Yeah, they have no fiber. So that's going to keep you constipated. Sugar will keep you constipated. Memory loss, acid reflux, fibroids, and the list can go on and on and on. So the issues on the skin. Just a couple of days ago, I met someone who was excited to show me his skin and how clean and nice it was. And he had psoriasis, and for many years, but worked in I would say, a toxic environment. So you see the environment, and where there were buses and the exhaust from fumes and all of that. He was a bus driver, so he will have to be out every day. And so he got psoriasis, that skin patches on his skin. And we had a conversation many years ago, and I advised him, to make changes to the diet and to start walking, exercising, get some vitamin D, because vitamin D deficiency could account for many of these autoimmune conditions. And as he got a vitamin D, he came off flesh foods, went on plant foods, made change to the diet, removed dairy, flour, gluten of today. Flour of today is not the same, and they're hybridized. So all of that, the wheat flour, was removed. And by making those changes, his skin recovered. His skin, you see, what's out on the skin is from within. So you got to make the changes on the inside. It's not something to put topically. And as he made the change with a healthier diet, that food is information. It communicated to his body to eat these foods, have these foods. It's nourishing the cells, and the cells are happy and healthy. And so everything cleared and went away from his skin. He's so happy. And that happens even with these conditions, they're lifestyle diseases, and they can be reversed with lifestyle changes. We want to be like the red tree with the right diet, right lifestyle, right environment, and therefore have sharp memory. Peace and joy and cheerfulness and energy and health, and no diseases, no aches and pains. That sounds like heaven, right? We're here on planet Earth, but we could reduce some of these things that comes our way. Okay, so let's get rid of the blue tree and remove it from our diet. What are some of the things that we could remove from our diet that might be feeding ill health? Yeah. And so what could we remove? Look, for example, animal fat. Those who eat the most animal fat tend to have the highest breast cancer risk. Women who ate margarine experienced more breast cancer, study done in Greece. Yeah, more margarine. Yeah, and animal fat like cheese and butter. Yes. Okay, so those things can increase not only breast cancer, when it comes to ovarian cancer, hugely connected to dairy consumption. Yeah, dairy, prostate. So you're talking to the men, prostate enlargement that can become cancerous, ovarian cyst, ovarian cancers, rectal, colon and rectal cancers, breast cancer, lymphoma, just to name a few, all connected to dairy. Okay. Here's another example. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAH. When individuals grill or broil meat over the direct flame, as in here you have the coals underneath, and what happens, the dripping of the fat from the meat falls onto these coals, and the fumes goes back up onto the meat. And then you find that fumes and the substance produced on the meat, the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and they are carcinogenic. They are cancer agents within them. So these things may smell good as you season them because they have no smell on their own, except if they're rotting. And you season them and you go grill and barbecue and so forth. Put some nice dressing on that, and it might be tasting good, but it's not healthy for your body. And the individuals who do this repeatedly, having all these barbecues and so forth, hugely connected to colon and rectal cancer. Yeah, so when you make the change, there's a particular guy I know who got colon cancer when he was young, and he recalled he used to go to the barbecue shop regularly. And when he found out he had colon cancer, he stopped. And he was able to reverse his condition and be healed from the cancer with lots of work put in. But he stopped, not adding these things again. So when we talk, think about prevention. If this is something that you're partaking of, think about prevention. It is easier to prevent. Just stop eating and you prevent, as to have it, just enjoying it, and then it's harmful to you. Benzofurin, also formed from charcoal broiled meat. They can affect the liver, the stomach, the colon, the intestines, the esophagus, your lungs, and your breast. So you can find that cancer-forming agents tumors show up there. Cancer tumors increased with high amounts of proteins from animals. Complete protein beyond 12% progressed or increased the cancer. That comes from the China study by Dr. T. Colin Campbell. And so when individuals ate the protein from animals, their cancer increased, the tumors increased. And if they were to remove that animal protein from the diet and use plant protein, you saw the tumors reduced. And that's how food gives information. Cancer cells love fats from animals, and they love sugar, and you consume that, it just makes them flourish, make them grow. You starve them with a healthy diet. And there's a nice little statement coming from a book, Counsels and Diets and Foods, page 389. Eating much flesh will diminish intellectual activity. Students would accomplish much more in their studies if they never tasted meat. When the animal part of the human nature is strengthened by meat eating, the intellectual power diminishes proportionately. So the more meat you ate, individuals ate, the more their brilliance, their intelligence was reduced. Yes, I tell the children, watch this one. Stay off the chicken, the fish, the turkey, the lobster, the shrimp, the crab, the butter, eggs, cheese, ice cream. Watch that one when it comes to if you are studying. Big question. Why was man permitted to eat flesh food? And after the flood, people ate largely of animal food, and God saw that the ways of man were corrupt, and that he was disposed to exalt himself proudly against his creator, and to follow the inclination of his own heart. And he permitted that long-lived race to eat animal food to shorten their sinful lives. Soon after the flood, the race began to rapidly decrease in size and in length of years. Look at this picture. You see, Noah at his time had the flood. Before the flood, look at the lifespan of man. Pretty high. Adam, 930. Methuselah, 969. And Adam, he lived into his 600s. And then after, you find soon cutting off, reduced, that the psalmist said in Psalm 90:10, the days of our lives are 80 years and 10. And if by reason of strength they be 80 years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off and we fly away. So soon cut off and fly away. The lifespan of man now is really short. So just watching some of the foods here that we will want to remove from our diet, just to give us a picture of a sense of what we're talking about. You know, a lot of times folks tell me they like fish. I say, yeah, but a fish doesn't like you. There are people who would use fish oil for many conditions, omega-3. And it may reduce risk of coronary heart disease. Yeah, but the fish oil, that's an option. You don't have to resort to it. There are studies that shows that the values that you get from a fish oil, you can most definitely get it from flaxseed. See a flaxseed, you ground your flaxseed, and you will get your omega-3. 2 tablespoons a day will give that to you. Yeah, 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. So make sure and eat your flaxseed. If you have breast issues, if you are at risk for cancer, if you are at risk for prostate issues, prostate enlargement, if you're at risk for heart conditions, flaxseed, 2 tablespoons of the ground flaxseed every day is going to be helpful to you. Okay, that's what it takes for those issues, not the fish oil. Why? The oil in this fish oil can actually increase your cholesterol levels. You see, sometimes you hear a lot of information out there, and oh, this is good for a particular condition. Really good, really helpful. Yeah, but it's not the full story, in the sense that it's not looking at health holistically. When we're teaching here health in a holistic way, it's by sharing it you that which is good, or so looking at the pros and the cons, and letting you know these are all the benefits, or here are some side effects. That's important for you to have information to make a right decision. So if individuals tell you about fish oil, good for your heart and your brain and so forth, and your blood vessels, and yeah, but it can also increase cholesterol in the blood. Yeah, and I've seen that that's real. I've seen with folks and individuals. It can also keep your blood pressure high. So because of the oil component in it. Yeah, it's oil. And it's going to be problematic. So all of these foods, we want to remove it from our diet. Yep. Yeah, all these, all of these too. Look at that picture. How, yeah, it's so pretty. Do you think we will get some of those in heaven? We'll get most definitely wonderful things. And they're all filled. There's sugar in there. And so let me just tell you about sugar. Sugar weakens your white blood cells' ability to destroy bacteria. It can literally break down your immune system. The more sugar you consume, the lower your immune system gets to. And in this chart, it shows if you had 0 sugar, like I believe today I had no sugar in my diet. I didn't spoon up any sugar into anything I ate. And the chef here at the center, we have no sugar for her to put anything into, in the cupboard. So we didn't have that sugar. So the number of bacteria destroyed big amounts, like for example, 14 different types of bacteria at one time. And therefore, if you add 6 teaspoons of sugar, you can get like about 10. The more you add, less bacteria being able to destroy. These bacteria may come into your system and through your environment and be harmful to you. Okay, viruses, same way, because your white blood cell is needed to fight to be robust enough. Yeah, so let's stay away from the sugar. Sugar is linked to different types of cancers as well, colon, and not only the cancer, think about these organs and their function. And that's why it becomes cancerous, because of the dysfunction of the organ. So it could affect your colon, your rectal area, your breast, your ovary, your uterus, your prostate, your kidney, your nervous system. Sugar will affect. And it also plays a role in increasing the growth of tumors. And so the more sugar you eat, eating foods with high glucose levels will result in more insulin production. That can also account for insulin growth factor 1. And once that happens, that tends to spur the growth and the multiplication of cells that could result in you having tumors. And yes, so it can also create free radicals, and it can get to the point where you have mutation of the cells that can contribute to tumor growth. So glucose, high glucose levels, high sugar levels connected with obesity, cancers. And even if individuals are obese and have diabetes too, they are at risk for getting cancers as well. And this is action that can make that possible. So what do? Let's choose healthier foods to eat on a day-by-day basis. All of these refined products, they lack the essential nutrients that's good for your health. Yeah. So all of your vitamins, your minerals, these fast foods, they don't want are they missing? No fiber, no antioxidant, vitamins, minerals, all of these things that you need in order to be healthy. The closest may be the corn on the cob. Yeah. But then what's put on it? If they put butter on it, then that's problem. Your potato is good, but if it's baked in fat and so forth, yeah. So some of these things, you see how food is prepared can also make it detrimental to our health. Okay, so we would pause right here. I know. Okay, just 2 slides, and then I see my division breaker slide. Okay, so when it comes to alcohol, tobacco, coffee, cocoa, ketchup, vinegar, cigarette smoking, all of these things, when you're cleaning up the diet, these need to be removed. When you're looking to reverse all of these lifestyle conditions or correct diseases in your body, you want to have a nice, clean, healthy environment. You don't want to have consume things that will sort of destroy your cells like vinegar does. Vinegar will destroy your red blood cells and cause people to be more anemic. And then you find that you don't want to have cancer-causing agents like chocolate and cocoa. In the cocoa bean and so forth, they're cancer-causing agents. And then we want to watch out on
red light is on.
some of, want to watch all the caffeine, all those things, alcohol drinking, putting us at risk for several disease conditions of the breast, the uterus, the prostate, the ovaries, the brain, our liver, all these alcohol things, and our lungs, hugely impacted by cigarette smoking, and individuals who smoke extended period of time, it increases aging and so forth. And our spices and condiments, we need to watch some of these things that can increase stomach acid when you don't need that excess amount of stomach acid. They have toxic elements like this nutmeg, for example, has myristicin, which is a toxic alkaloid, and that can arrest your central nervous system. So by adding these things to your diet regularly, creates certain kinds of chemical reactions within the body that may not be all good. Okay, that may be something that you want to be removed from. You don't, these things tend to be quite stimulating to the system. Some of it can be used for medicinal purpose, but not always. Clove, for example, you can have clove, you can grate it and make a little paste and put it on an aching tooth, and it will numb that gum. Clove oil, you can do the same. But imagine you're adding clove to your diet every single day. If it's numbing the nervous system, well, that's not a healthy thing to practice. So whereas some of these might have medicinal values and we use it for short periods of time, we're not encouraging that it be used as part of our regular diet. When it comes to oil, let's eat the olive as opposed to the olive oil. When it comes to the coconut, let's eat the coconut as opposed to having coconut oil. Oil, again, look at how much oil. You know how many coconuts need to be processed to make the oil? So these are not food in its altogether natural state. Therefore, we need to watch the consumption, the amount, and understand too that there are times when, because you have disease conditions, we would need to stay away from any item that has gone through a process. All right, and in that way, we reduce inflammation, we reduce some of the dysfunctions in the body and help the body along. So when I see individuals with heart disease, I would say to them, you're cooking with oil. Yeah, I'm cooking. Folks would say they're cooking with grapeseed oil, olive oil, coconut oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, palm oil, all of those. And I would say, let's remove those oils from your diet. You have heart disease issues already. We don't want to be feeding and growing that condition. That's what it would do. And therefore, let's back away. Let's take it away from the diet and put more of the healthy items in that diet. And when they do get a blessing of health and healing. So the optimal diet, God has provided everything that we need for that food to be used in a miraculous way to help our bodies. We'd want to pause right here and continue at our next session with our part 2.